Hey folks, and welcome to another Photography Lockdown Challenge. If you're not sure what a Photography Lockdown Challenge is, it's a series of weekly tutorials and photo challenges and competitions which you can enter for fun, to learn, to expand your photography knowledge and to keep you out of mischief during this lockdown period. Let's use this time productively so that you get the most value out of it and can grow your skills as a photographer. It's really inspiring looking at what other people in the group have produced as well. If you'd like to find out all about it, please click the link that is popping out above me right now, where you can learn about it, you can find out what the current challenge is, you can get notifications as to what's happening, see winners, runners up, all that good stuff. So what is this week's challenge? This week's challenge is time. How would you interpret time? Now remember, this isn't about interpretation of theme, this is about making some great photos, however you choose to interpret it. I have been around and gathered some timey-wimey related things. We got the obvious one here, a clock. We've got a less obvious one here, which is a little, oh, you can't see it in that light, can you? A little sundial, look. It's a little sundial-y thing. You know, would that work? Could we use that somehow? I've got a book called 5 Minutes, which was sent to me by a lovely guy called Paul Gadd. This is his book. Paul, if you're watching, I've still got it. Paul did some of my online training years ago, and he sent me this book of beautiful portraits he shot out in Malaysia. Fabulous, fabulous stuff. Can't show you all that. I mustn't get sidetracked. I'm good at that. So how could we interpret time? I'm thinking, how could we mix those ingredients? I don't know. How we mix them isn't that important, to be honest. I mean, maybe there's something we could do, you know, with the clock and the book. Just, I don't know, by arranging things around. This will take time. These things do take time. I'm just doing these little tutorials fairly quickly just to give you an idea on things that you could do. But I'm not suggesting for a moment that you should do what I am suggesting. Let's up the ISO here. I want to roll a little bit of video and show you just a couple of ideas as to how this could be done. Now remember, the most important thing in all of photography is composition and light. Sure, you've got to know a few camera controls, but they're really not that complicated. You've got 3 exposure controls, and which settings you use are generally not important unless you want to be controlling movement or depth of field. Beyond that, one exposure is as good as another, so long as you get the exposure that gives you the result that you want. More on that in a minute. Let's have a little look and see what we could come up with. So, you know, this is obviously very obvious. It's not much fun, is it? But, you know, remember, move things around, play with ideas. Can we get in closer? Would it work to be closer? Can we keep the 5 minutes and a little bit of clock? I don't know. Could we have the 5 minutes and just a hint of clock? It's just rather obvious, isn't it? But look, this is what I want you to understand, guys. Composition is all about doing this. It's about moving from side to side. Would it work as a more, you know, kind of negative spacey sort of a shot, something like that? I don't know. I'm actually not going to play with this one too much because I want to show you something else that I thought up before we started filming. Maybe we can have a little play with this and a window over there. Now, bear with me, this takes a little bit of faffing about. I don't know if you're pointing at the right window. Let's point you over that way a bit. There we go. And I will move you in a moment. I need the phone so I can see what I'm doing. We're going to come over here to this window. And we're going to do a little bit of exposure practice. This is more for you guys who are probably starting out on this amazing journey of photography. The more experienced amongst you should be able to do this easy peasy. That worked quite well. I didn't expect that. I thought there'd be bangs and crashes as I drop things all over the place. What do I do with the phone? There it is. Now look, what do we got? What was interesting me about this is how the 2 shapes work. We have got our circular clock, and we've also got this angle, this 45-degree line. I know what you're seeing here is incredibly dark because the camera is seeing what's outside, and cameras and eyes see light differently. They do not see light in the same way. Look, if we go like this and put me possibly in front of a bright window, I don't know if I can do this. Is this going to work? Yeah, kind of, but it's a bit like the clock. I've gone kind of dark. Yeah, and it's because Cameras and eyes see light differently. It would certainly work over there. It didn't really work, sorry. But it certainly worked when we did this, didn't it? Look, did you see? As we look out the window, as we see more window, the clock goes really dark. We start looking at more clock and the clock goes bright. Yet, with my eyes, I can see detail in both really easily. Where am I going to put you so you can see what's going on? I wonder if you can see from there. It's not bad. Hope you're enjoying the yellow glove. We all enjoy yellow gloves, don't we? Yellow gloves are great fun. Right, I think that's our angle. So, what are we going to do with this? Forgive me, I think I've got that really badly framed. Let's go that way a bit so I can bring you closer. Will that work better? No, too close. The sink's in the way. I can't put you in the sink. That would just be rude, wouldn't it? So, let's have a little look what we got here. I like the shape. Now then, if we can get some exposure, get the exposure about right. Now watch what happens. Look, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I like this shape. I like the thought of that right angle here and just the little bit of clock going on. What could it look like? It could probably look something like this. And in the photo, I think the background would get blown out. I don't like this here. Look, you see, this is what you do, you experiment. I don't like that. See the window thing there? I don't like it. Let me try and take the still, because it might help you see what I was thinking. This, I know, could work, because I kind of did it the other day as a little trial run. Hopefully I can find it and pop it on screen for you now. But I don't think I've got this clock set in quite the right place. Let's try moving it back into photo mode. Here we are. Now if I expose, yeah, the clock's leaning over at the wrong angle. It's all a big mess, but look, I'm exposing more for the clock and look how the background is burnt out. This is a messy composition. This hasn't worked at all like the one which we did earlier. There's a shot over behind me which I think will. But if you expose for the outside, then not only will you get lots of annoying stuff outside the window, you can't see the clock. With fiddling around, this could be balanced up so that we could get it in just the right place. But I don't want to waste time on that because there's a piece of light over here which I think could really work. I'm rushing. I don't want you guys to rush. I want you to take your time. Look. I need the phone because I can't see what you're looking at. On the floor over there, if you can see, there is a patch of light down there on the carpet. We've got a sundial. We've also got an abstract picture. Look at the reflection of the light in the cupboard. I quite like that, but we're not going to use that now. So, I think we could do something with these pools of light on the top and down there on the carpet, and that exposure thing I just showed you over there at the window. This is what thinking like a photographer is all about. Where am I going to put you so you can see? How about if we put you up here? Will that work? You're not going to be able to see the carpet. Okay, I'm just going to put you up here back where you were so you can see this highlight on the top area. We're just going to work with this one. We're not going to work with the bit on the carpet, which I do like. I'm just going to do a quick shot with it maybe and chuck it up on the end, but we're going to work with this because I want you to see what I'm thinking about. Look, we've got light coming through here. We've got our little sundial-y thing. So could we use these lines and shapes that you can see and line them up with this so we can kind of make something out of it? We've got objects and shapes, we've got shadows. Let me see what we can do. This is all photography is, guys. It's experimentation. You don't need herds of wildebeest sweeping majestically across the plain in order to get a great photo. All you need is patience and practice and trying things out. This is all the pros do. This is all we do, right? It's just playing with different ideas and different things to see what works. And then with more practice, things start to work more often. Now look, here we go. Right, this is what I'm kind of seeing. I like these shapes. Look, we've got this triangular shape here. We've got the square here. Let's try moving this more into the light. Maybe put it more into the corner. Play around with your composition. Where do you want to position that sundial? What time do you want it to be? You know, where is a good place to put that? I kind of like it there because we're kind of getting another triangle. You see, triangles are good. We're getting a triangle and a triangle. I do like a triangle. Let's bring that back an incy bit there so we can see the very tip. Now let's try our focal lengths. Forgive me, I'm just going to take that tripod clip off the bottom so I can turn the screen. There we go. Now look, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? How are we exposing? Well, I'm using, because it's very bright there, if we change the exposure, look, if we start to expose so we can see into the shadows, look what happens. We're beginning to get total burnout in the highlight area. So we can use this effect to make the shadows very dark indeed. And if I change the shutter speed, get the exposure about right for that bright sundial. And that's really moody, isn't it? So let me get that there in focus. And that's something along the lines of what I'm thinking. Let's change the mode and take the picture. How do you want to interpret time? There are so many ways to do it, but it's not the interpretation that's so important. It's about finding interesting images. I'm going to come back. Oh, I've just seen something which I should have shown you in the video, but I'm not going to. Right, so my exposure is, let's make it a little faster. Go to a 500th of a second at, where are we? I'm at f9. There's a lot of light there, 400 ISO. That should be cool. Now, we were playing around with a shot that looked like that, weren't we? And it is pretty cool. No two ways about it. Kind of like that. What I just noticed though was this edge, and the light is falling off down here, so we're getting another shape on this corner. Would that work as a shot? Let's just see. I'm just going to move back a bit. I think it will. Make sure my feet aren't in shot. I like negative space, so I'm not going too close. I like graphic lines and shapes. Let's try that. I'm not sure it's quite straight. There we go. How's that? That, I think, is much more interesting. We got that single shape. Now look, you see that shadow? This shadow here going on. Don't like that at all. What is causing that? It is up here. Let's move it. There's a pot plant up there. Look, you've got to look at the whole picture, not just the subject. We're getting closer. Let's move that out a bit. It's not so much about what the shot is, it's more about what you're doing with it, about how you're executing it. I'm going to give that more negative space if I can. I like negative space. I really do. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to do one more. Just move this more into, I'm going to even up the gaps in the light, in the shape. I'm really getting into this. I need to stop it because this video will go on forever if I'm not careful. Here we go. I think you see what we're thinking. Even though it's very simple, it's a dramatic sort of a picture, isn't it? Light is so important. Light is so important. You could do other things. You could come in closer. You really can, you know, you could come in closer. You could crop the shot. You could do a different composition just by changing the focal length. That kind of works too. You could change where the shadow is, you know. You can, there's so much you can do. It really is never ending. You could go like that. Personally, I think it's boring. It doesn't work. You need those shadows. Practice and play with this, guys. Nobody was ever born understanding photography. We've all had to go on a journey of practicing, and this is a really great time to do it. If you want to get one of my online courses, this is also a great time to do it. And also, you're helping to keep the boat afloat for all the free stuff that we put out onto YouTube. Don't forget, use this week's hashtag. Make sure it is with your picture when you upload it, and you can click the little eye symbol up here just to go back if you want to go back to the website, get all the info. Take care, guys. I look forward to critiquing some of your photos at the weekend, next weekend. It's going to be fun. Take care. Enjoy.